everyone, James Labrie from Dream Theater, and you're listening to or watching the podcast Talking Into Infinity with JT and Brian. Enjoy this. These guys are extremely informative. I love their dialogue. I love their interpretation of the songs, who and what we are, what we were going after. They're very accurate in their interpretations and descriptions, and I just think this is a great show, and these guys are doing a stand-up stellar job. So once again, enjoy Talking Into Infinity with JT and Brian.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Talking Into Infinity, a Dream Theater-centric podcast. I am your host, John. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and talkingintoinfinity.com. We are at those locations every other Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, at least I am. Brian's off slacking again. He's playing a gig with his band. So, yeah, I'm flying solo, but not technically solo. For tonight, we are kind of venturing back into the world of bands who influenced Dream Theater in some way. And we are doing the third record in the Pantera catalog, that, of course, being Far Beyond Driven. And I have some incredible friends coming on the show to help me do that. Starting off with a friend of show. You guys know him, you love him, and you are big fans of his Dream Theater video work, of course. We are talking about Mr. Wayne Joyner. What's going on, man? How are you?
Good, dude. What's going on, man?
Not too much, man. Not too much. It's good to see you. We haven't like quote unquote hung out since that. God, what was that? It was the Dream Theater show in Columbus last year.
Yeah, dude. That's almost a year ago. That's hard to believe.
It feels like it was just a couple months ago. Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah, man. Dude, and you know that trip, I had this really cool Eddie Van Halen beanie. I think you have the same one. Dude, I totally forgot it and left it in the hotel room.
Did you really?
Dude, I'm like so mad at myself too. I was like, fuck.
You have to give me your address. I'll replace it for you as like a thank you gift for the hookups at the show. Man. So what are you working on these days, man? I saw you might actually have a little bit of time to yourself for a minute here, if I saw correctly.
Yeah, dude. It's yeah, man. I've caught up with all my clients, and I just finished doing the Seven Dust tour. They're on their second leg now, or I don't know if it's their second leg, but it's they're doing that Theory of a Dead Man tour with those guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I just those guys are taken care of, and I did the Creed reunion this summer again. I guess it's like the third summer reunion tour for them, and just getting the Alter Bridge stuff ready for the fall, and that's about it, man. A little bit of downtime, which is nice. I guess the universe is telling me to slow down a little bit.
I was going to say, you haven't had a lot of downtime from the job in quite a while, from what I can tell.
Yeah, dude, I haven't had any downtime in about 12 years.
Oh, my God. Okay, it's been a while.
Yeah, so, I mean, I thrive in chaos, man. So if I'm sitting here on my hands not doing anything, I'm like, what the fuck am I
Oh, my God. Well, we don't just have you here to talk some Pantera. Obviously, you can be, the guy who's coming from the guitar player perspective, since obviously we could see in the background you've got your awesome collection there. Of course, we've got the John Petrucci, the one, I don't know, little album called Images and Words was recorded with it.
Yeah, I got a couple of them back there, man. A couple Majesties and stuff, but
that's awesome. Yeah, I know you're a big Dimebag guy, because we've talked about that in the past, and when we did the first two records. So that'll be pretty cool. I also have another Pantera expert. He actually has, I'll let him tell the story, but he has a personal connection to Pantera. He is one of my very best friends. He is, of course, the mighty Chris Akin. What's going on, man?
What is up, Chief? How are we?
I am doing good, man. So, all right, so you have a pretty crazy Pantera story, and this, of course, relates to your burn accident.
Okay.
So we got to start the show off with you.
With me talking burns?
Yeah. Now, was that was this for the Far Beyond tour, or was it for Trend?
90, yeah, it was 95. It was when they were on tour with Orange 9mm and Neurosis.
Okay, so yeah, so that would have been the Far Beyond tour then.
Yeah, it was here at Rhodes Arena in Akron was the show. And I had just gotten blown up and gotten home, after 22 freaking surgeries and blah, 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 69% burned, blah, blah. And I was still in an absolute bloody mess, like bleeding like crazy everywhere. And when I was in the hospital, they announced the show, and I told my one friend, I said, go get me some tickets. And meanwhile, they're telling me when I'm in the hospital, oh, you're going to be here 8 or 9 months. You're not going home anytime soon. And I was like, oh no, I'm going. And my buddy's like, oh, I'll get you a shirt. I'll get it. And I started screaming. I was like, go get me some fucking tickets. I like screamed at him to go get me some tickets. And so he buys these tickets. I put them on a little cork board. I threw all the cards and stuff that were up in front of me off it, circled those tickets, and I was going no matter what. And I did go. And my buddies had to get around me to make sure nobody bumped into me, nobody knocked me down. No, and I sat as far away from the stage as I could at the very tippy top of the seats. But God damn it, I was going to that Pantera show, and I did. And I actually had the chance to tell Phil that story, and Phil couldn't have been more gracious. He did like some promo for my book just based on that, because I'd written about it in my little book, which I actually have here, my little Call Me Chris book.
Oh, well, that's cool, man.
And there it is.
There we go.
Nice.
And Philip did a little bit of promo for me for that book, and he did a little bit of on a side note, on the same day that he shot the promo for the book, he also shot a nice little message for John's stepson, which was very cool. You've got great parents.
Yep. Dominic Rigdon, I know who you are.
I know who you are.
That was awesome.
It was. Phil's a great dude. I know he takes a lot of shit online, but Phil is he's always been nice to me, and he was very supportive and very helpful. And Pantera as a band, helped me get through arguably the toughest time in my life. So I got nothing but love for the Pantera boys.
Very cool, man. Yeah, I know. As we were talking about, Wayne and I have done the first 2 records, and I know Wayne is a huge Dimebag guy. And
me too.
Yep. And yeah, I mean, so why don't we just, real quick, I do have one Pantera note before we just dive right in here. But so I wanted to ask you guys, because I don't know how I can't necessarily say that I missed this, but I really just listened to it today. So the 2020 re-release of Reinventing the Steel. Mm-hmm. Have you guys listened to that?
I have.
So I got to tell you, why didn't they just get so Wayne, basically it's a remastered version of the record, but it's also a whole separate version of the record that Terry Date mixed.
Okay. And
that Terry Date mix sounds light years better than the original version.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounds like Vulgar and Far Beyond. I was like, where was this before? I had no idea.
Yeah, it's way better. The dynamics, for whatever reason, Reinventing sounded very muddy to me.
Yeah,
and when I saw it live, it was so much more dynamic. And what they did with this rematch with the Terry Date mix is you get all of the nuances now. You hear the layering of the guitars and the drums meshing with the bass and stuff. I mean, it is a way better experience.
Yeah, it brings out the dynamics, and especially in something like the drums, like it sounds like Vinnie Paul drums. Like I did Revolution Is My Name, because when I saw it, I had finished taking my notes for the show for Far Beyond. I was like, I'm going to keep listening to some Pantera stuff. And I saw that. I was like, I realized I never listened to the updated version. And so I was like, I'll pick a song and I'll back to back it. So I got about, a minute through Revolution Is My Name. And then I put on the Terry Date version. I was like, what the fuck? Like, oh my God, like what is going on? Like why didn't they get this guy for everything? So now I'm thinking, man, they should get him, to redo Trendkill. Just have all 5 records have a Terry Tate mix, man.
Let's not mess with perfection now, John. Stop it.
The production wise, dude.
I love it. I love it. It's so raw. Just makes me want to hit somebody with a meat cleaver. It's perfect.
Nice. So, all right, yeah, just wondering if you guys had seen that, because I know I know I'm like 6 years too late, but I knew it was there, but I just never bothered listening to it. I was like, "Oh, cool." I didn't think anything of it. I'd heard everything. All right, so let's dig into the record here. So, Wayne, do you have I don't, forgive me, I don't remember if we talked about this before, but do you have a favorite Pantera record?
Yeah, definitely Cowboys. Well, let me say, I really, really enjoy like Projects in the Jungle.
Okay.
And like the 80s stuff. No, I mean, like, it's really good material. Talking about that needs to be remastered. Like all the 80s stuff, the glam stuff really needs like to be remastered, and I would be
How about
all
just
over
released?
that.
How about that?
Exactly.
How about released professionally instead of out of somebody's trunk?
Right. But I guess out of Cowboys would be number 1 for me. It goes in order. I'll make it easy for you. Cowboys, Vulgar, Far Beyond. Actually, I may take some shit for this, but I really like that Damage Plan record. So I'm going to put the Damage Plan record over Reinventing the Steel.
Oh, geez, dude.
So,
wow.
So, yeah.
I'm glad I asked.
I was into that when it came out, man. It was...
All right, John, can you take me out of this now? I can't be part of this.
Wow, man. That one's a tough listen for me, I have to admit.
Yeah.
It has its moments.
I really like the vocals.
That I don't like, but I like what Dime was doing. I do like the single, whatever that was, and and what was the other one? The Side of the Bullet or whatever. That's
Save Me. I think that was the single.
Save Me was the single. I like that, and the one about the bullet, which is ironic, but that's a cool song. There's if I'm listening to it, I don't turn it off. But I could tell you since 2004, there's never been a day where I went back and said, you know what, I gotta listen today. Damage Plan.
That listen to it today.
I think for me it's the production. I was so disappointed. It sounded like demos to me. So maybe we should get Terry Date on the Damage Plan record. Have him do that one too.
Nice.
So Chris, obviously, we don't need to ask. I mean, your favorite Pantera record is Trendkill.
Mm-hmm.
So
by a million miles. I love it. It's just so brutal.
It's that stark for you, really.
I mean, this one that we're gonna do tonight is my number 2, but I would listen to Trendkill 100 times before I'd listen to this once.
Really?
I love it. I just love it's when Phil was not sure if he wanted to be a death metal guy or a regular metal guy. And me, I love the heavier it is, the better it is. And you had Seth Putnam from Anal Cunt in there laying those screams in on Great Southern Trendkill and on several of the other tracks where Phil had kind of lost that in his voice by that point. Now all of a sudden it was back with that,
Yeah.
I just love it. I still, even to this day, man, you give me, shredding skin, not shredding skin,
sandblasted skin.
Sandblasted Skin or song, or, the Underground America or any of those songs. I am all in, man. Love it.
See, that kind of leads me to my first note. I would argue, and Wayne, you could be the referee here, I guess.
Okay.
I would argue that Far Beyond Driven is heavier and more vicious than Trendkill is.
You are a drug dealer.
Yeah, it's more chuggy. That's the word I want to look for. It's got more that low end chug to it.
Okay.
Than Trendkill.
The problem I have with this record is some of the songs are not very good. That's the instant difference that I have.
I agree.
Now, when you say that, that's another point that I have listed in my notes. When you say that, would you say, Doug McCauley just got here. First thing I heard was anal cunt. I'm in the right place. Oh my God, Doug, are we high tonight? Are we high, Doug, or what are we doing tonight? Yeah, like I mean, when you say that, are you talking about the second half of the record?
I'm talking about track 5 and 6, right in the middle. I do not like Good Friends and a Bottle of Pills. I do not like Hard Lines and Sunken Cheeks.
Yeah, it sucks, dude.
I hate those two. I literally, they are automatic skips for me. And that's very rare in the Pantera lore for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't skip many songs, but I skip both of those every single time. I just don't like them. They don't fit. They are drug fuck Phil, as Vinny used to call him. Those are drug fuck Phil songs. And nah, not for me.
But then you got 5 Minutes Alone, which is one of their best songs.
So and I'm broken and becoming and use my third arm. And I mean, there's a lot of greatness on it.
Yeah. Well, it's not a very balanced record.
No.
Yes. And that's why I asked you guys that, because like I've always, no matter how much I've listened to this album, this record has always felt like the second half is just kind of weird. You know, it's like you said, like song wise, it's just there's a lot of strangeness in there. Yeah. And it seems like a lot of those songs kind of were like unfinished ideas. Like, cause you'll have like a couple really cool riff parts, but then there's like squealies and weird noise and you know, it's not really cohesive. But then like the first, you know, the first 4 songs, I mean, Jesus Christ, Strength Beyond Strength, Becoming, 5 Minutes Alone, I'm Broken. Like that's, you know, and there's a couple like bangers on the second half, you know, I mean, like Slaughter is amazing. Yeah. Like, but yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like in the middle is where Phil started getting drugged out, or they were doing too much cocaine or something, like, you know.
Yeah.
So
they were kind of, this is when, I mean, you gotta kind of remember the time. This is when Phil was sort of pulling away from these guys a little bit. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Down Nola came out, what, a year later? Which means it was already in the works. You know, so if it was already in the works, when was it in the works? They were the #1 band in the world, and Phil's out doing a side project. They were not cohesive at this point. And I think you get some of that. I think especially the two that we just named, the Good Friends and Hard Lines and Sunken Cheeks, I honestly think they're throw-ins. I just think they're throw-ins. I think we had this idea, let's just kind of push this shit out and see what happens. And, you know.
Yeah. Say it's Nation, great to see you. He says, I don't know, Sunken Cheeks goes pretty goddamn hard, but Bottle of Pills is the most skippable track on earth of any band.
Don't disagree at all.
Yeah.
Aaron Taft, good to see you, man. Says, hey guys, can't stick around. Out to dinner in Tennessee. Here for Morse Fest tomorrow and Saturday. Hopefully get the chance to say hi to one Mr. Portnoy. I'll tell him y'all say hi if I do. Very cool, man. Well, thank you for checking in, but you got to stop jumping on when you're busy, man. Last time it was your wife's birthday. Now you're doing Morse Fest, but great to see you, brother. Yeah, I can't say that I disagree with you guys. I mean, you know, one of my notes, the one thing I think that saves some of those ideas where you're like, what the fuck is this, is just there's a certain level of musicianship, I think, especially with Dimebag, where they can take something so stupidly simple that if another band did it, it would just be absolute trash. But you know, Dime will be doing some super simple riff, but then Vinny will be doing some really busy drum thing behind it. So there's always something interesting to your ear that kind of distracts from the fact that there's like in one of the parts or even two of the parts, there's really nothing happening.
Right.
So like I said, it feels like, I mean, it's a great album. Don't get me wrong, as a whole, but a lot of it, especially again in the back half, just feels unfinished.
Yeah. Was this their best-selling record?
I think that's still Vulgar.
I think it's Vulgar. Yeah, it was the first one of any heaviness ever to be #1, though. It was #1
they called it
on Billboard.
Extreme metal. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think even to this point, it still is that. I don't think anything else has been number one. You know, and it's heavy. I mean, that's the weird thing about this. A lot of people, reviews that I've read and whatnot, say that this album's not heavy. And that, you know, because that's of like crazy. I'm Broken and 5 Minutes Alone and whatever, and Becoming, you know, are not just, you know, blazing heavy. This is a heavy record, man. I remember when it came out, God, I couldn't have loved it any more than I did when it came out. It was so good.
Yep. Dude, I think this is their heaviest record personally.
Well, that's because you're on the drunk.
Dude, seriously, man. I mean, Wayne, what do you think is their heaviest record?
I'm gonna say Vulgar, I think, is their heaviest record.
Okay.
Do either of you have Trendkill?
Well, dude, here's the thing. Like, I think Trendkill was a little more focused and whatnot. I again, the word that comes to mind whenever I think of this record is vicious.
Yeah.
There's just an attitude to it. Like, I mean, there's like a certain confidence to it. You know, like Cowboys was them kind of finding that, you know, groove metal style that they became, you know, the pioneers of. You know, it was a mix of that and the 80s stuff that Wayne was talking about. You know, Vulgar was them fully getting into it and everything. And that to me is like a groove record. You know what I mean? Like, that one just moves. But this one is like, there's a certain like cockiness and attitude of, like, we know we're on top of the world with this. And they just really pushed it into the heavy side of things. And even the production, man, I mean, it's pretty in the high end. It's like razor blades coming at you, dude. So like, I mean, it's just like a big package of just obnoxious, you know, I mean, shit, dude. I really think Phil explained it the best in the, you know, the closing credits of the Vulgar video, when he was like, new Pantera record, it's hard to listen to, it's gonna be abrasive, it's gonna be obnoxious, and it's gonna kick you in the balls or the pussy. Like, like, I'm like, yeah, that actually is kind of, that describes this album.
You're like, exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, the guy actually fucking did it, you know? It's not one of those, this is our best record ever, like everybody says. Like, no, you kind of nailed the vibe of it, man. So I thought that was pretty spot on. I think Doug's on your side, Akin. He says, just put War Nerve on, kills everything.
Or the title track.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm stunned to hear both of you say that something different than Trendkill is the heaviest. I'm not saying best. I'm saying just sheer brutality. That record, there's parts of that are almost death metal.
Yeah, but I mean, oh God, I'm trying to think how to explain it. I think that is more like straight ahead, like very down tuned in parts, you know, which is a little more stock if you're kind of going for heavy, quote unquote. Whereas this one, you know, there's only one song that I'm aware of that he actually, it was the first time, if I remember reading correctly, that he actually tuned low. And even on that song, he's not like, you know, you know, I mean, it's in there. You really can hear it in the bass, but with the guitar, he's really still kind of up in a normal register. And the heaviness just comes from just the absolute punishing nature of so many of these riffs, I think. So, you know, I mean, that would almost be worth going like a side by side and be like, which is heavier type of thing, like we've done with some other records, Chris.
So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah, when Brian takes off again.
That's right.
We'll side by side. It would be a cage match.
We can see I've got my name right for Brian, Brain Substitute.
Right. That's very good. Very astute. All right, so why don't we dig into this fucking thing track by track here? I took copious notes. None of which probably make very much sense, but you know, Wayne's a musician, Chris is an esteemed critic, and then there's my dumbass. So, you know, but so obviously track 1, we've got Strength Beyond Strength. Hold on a second. Okay, here we go. Wyatt G 27. The Southern Trendkill is their heaviest album. Just listen to Suicide Note Part 2 in the title track. Yeah, I mean, Suicide Note Part 2, you really can't argue with that.
You think?
Yeah. But,
although I'll argue this part. I think the song that you're getting ready to talk about right now is every bit as heavy as Suicide Note.
I agree. And would you guys, I don't know, for me, best opening song I've ever seen outside of like Black by Seven Dust, which I love. I have to say, when they opened with Suicide Note Part 2 on the Trendkill tour, that was awesome. I think that's my favorite opening track of any show I've ever seen. Would you guys agree that that's the way to go?
I do, dude. You saw that show at Blossom, is that right? Were you at that show? Did you see me getting pelted with batteries? Because I did the show intro for Pantera. I don't know if you remember that or not, but I did the show intro for that show, and I was up there doing my normal shtick of you guys are gonna get poisoned instead of Pantera, you fucking pussies. You know, I was doing my normal shtick, and immediately, and whatchamacallit, Suicide Note Part 1 was playing. Like in the background as I'm doing my thing. And immediately people are throwing ice and batteries. I go walking off to the side, and Dimebag is just laughing his ass off. He's like, "That's the way you do it, brother. That's the way you do it." Then he just went out there and murdered. It was so great.
That is awesome. All right, look at this. I gotta ask, Doug. It says skip beyond skip. Doug, are you saying you don't like Strength Beyond Strength? I mean, dude.
My goodness.
Wow. All right. So anyway, so track 1, Strength Beyond Strength. This is just like, you want to talk about a fucking pace setter of a song. Like, oh my God. Like, it just, you know, I mean, and that's why I say this album is like vicious, because I mean, right off the rip, you know, fans are used to, you know, Cowboys, and it gets heavier with Vulgar, but they're used, again, Vulgar was much more of a groove oriented. I think it's that groove stuff, you know. Everything had just that awesome driving kind of rhythm to it, but then they come out for, you know, after, you know, they've conquered the world and now they're the band, they come out with just this thrash, like, you're like, what the fuck? So it was like, they were literally right off the rip.
They were literally saying, "Yep, you know what you're going to get here. No need to listen for 2 minutes to figure it out. Here it is. No,
yeah. I mean, it really sets the record up. You're like, all right, this is heavier than what you've gotten before. Like, strap in, motherfucker.
Am I crazy in thinking too that maybe not now, because we've all had it for 30 whatever years or whatnot, but when you first got it, it just sounded, just the way that song starts, it sounds like it's just continuing where they left us. You know, it literally feels like they just finished with Vulgar, and all right, well, here's the next one. You know, it's like, woo, right in your face from second one. So great.
I mean,
it's like starting in the middle of a fight.
Yes.
It's like, there's no beginning to the fight. It's like it starts in the middle.
Yeah, that is a great way to describe it.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, to me, like I said, it's like it's them like hulked up. You know what I mean? Like, it's a continuation of Vulgar, but it's like they got really mad in the middle, like at the end, and like, all right, here we go, like, and you get something like this, and it, you know, it's got, you know. The other thing I noticed about this record, and I can't really say it starts here, but maybe in a way it's like there's a lot of disparate parts going on. Like there's in a lot of these songs, it's not just, okay, verse, chorus, solo, bridge, whatever. You know, there's like, okay, like this one is like, you know, it's got the thrash beat, like, you know, that really fast stuff. But then the middle's, they just throw this sludgy part in there. Mm-hmm. And it just butts up against the other part pretty heavily, man. And they do that a lot on this album. So it's like, and you know, I use the word progressive in some of these songs because it is kind of very, like, there's multiple parts that don't tie together. But, you know, again, that's more in the second half of the record. But the one thing I did want to point out about this, I mean, the guitar solo, man, like, that is a creepy, kind of weird, kind of haunting sound. And I still don't know how he does that stuff. He does these amazing harmonies and like tritones and everything, and with these weird effects. I mean, it just sounds so badass, man.
There's a little whammy on this record. He's using the whammy pedal a lot on this record.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, what do you think about this song, Wayne? I mean, this is a banger coming out of the gate, man.
Yeah, I mean it's especially for an opening track starting off with blast beats. It's sort of like the first 2 minutes are like all blast beats, and then it goes into this like cool head banging grudge, uh it's cool, man. It's I think it's them saying, hey, we are the biggest metal band on the planet, and we know it. Even the title, Strength Beyond Strength, like, you know what, we're fucking the biggest band on the planet right now.
Yeah.
And it's I think this record particular, I think production wise, I think it sounds the best. The drums are super clear. There's no muddiness in it. You could almost hear that like reverb echo on this every snare hit.
Yeah.
And especially in this song, when he's done with like the blast beats, you just it's so badass, man. And I almost would have not put this as the first track. Maybe like put this as like, the opening to side B, because like, how do you follow this?
So what would you have moved to the one spot?
Maybe Slaughtered. I think that would have been a good opening track.
Yeah, so basically kind of just reversing the order then, really.
Yeah.
Which
is also a banger too. That's actually my favorite song on this record. But just swap them out, because they're coming out really strong in here, and how you follow that?
Right. Yeah, it's definitely, like I say, to me, it's a statement of intent.
It's vicious. You called it with that, yeah.
Yeah, that word just always pops into my head thinking about this record, and I think this song basically defines it. You know, it's just it. Like I say, it's like vulgar on steroids, and it feels like artistically they felt a little, and this is probably a really fucking stupid thing to say, but it just feels like they went and said, okay, well, we've written everything in a proper structure. Now we have the confidence to go fuck around a little bit and take it or leave it. Fuck you, we're Pantera. And so I think that's a hallmark of this record, and I think you kind of start hearing the beginnings of that, with this particular tune. So all right, so moving on to track 2, of course, we have Becoming. Another just absolutely undeniable fucking tune. And to your point, Wayne, this is the first time we really hear that whammy pedal. I mean, he got a hold of that thing, and then it was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
And so, you would know better than I would. Had he? I want to say he hadn't used that on the previous 2 records, had he? I think this was the first one, if I'm not mistaken.
I'd have to go back and listen, but definitely not as much as this record. He uses it in every single song. I think he used it in Cemetery Gates on the solo.
Yeah.
But
at the end of that. Yeah.
But this record is in every song.
Yeah. Now, Akin, honestly, that one that you're talking, Doug McCauley, Becoming. Nice. Yeah, that one at the end of Cemetery Gates is actually a natural harmonic. It's just one of those things he can do, man. It was like, what the hell, man? And I want to say he does it at like the 1st or 2nd fret too, which that is just crazy. So, but yeah, this song has a really cool vibe to it. It kind of like,
it's very mechanical.
Yes, and those parts it gives it kind of a jog. Yeah, it's got this really cool rhythmic thing. Obviously that bass drum pattern is just ridiculous. I've always really loved the solo section on this one, because it's one of the times on this record, which doesn't happen a ton compared to other Pantera albums, where it really gets kind of straightforward. Like the drums and bass are just a nice simple beat and holding down the low end, just and Dime's just going bonkers, and he's just making just noise. Really, it's kind of like a noise solo. It's not like melodic with some cool runs and technique, and he's just like you said, Wayne, the whammy pedal is all over the place here. So I thought that was really cool. And I think this is like a really good follow-up to Strength Beyond Strength, because it's still got the heaviness to it and everything, but again, it brings in that musicianship where Dimeback's really just going a gug, and Vinny makes it interesting to the ear by doing that, you know.
Yeah.
And there's so much of that on this album where they just play off each other. One guy's like, I'm gonna lay back while you kick ass, and they kind of switch off and everything, and then occasionally they'll come together and just make something completely brutal out of it. So very, very cool song. I think they've played this at every single Pantera show I've ever seen.
Right.
Yeah, this would have been a good opening track too. To start the record.
Becoming, yeah. The one thing I'll say with Becoming is, and I'll say the same thing with use my third arm to throws a rejection, same exact thing. The placement, first, second, last, whatever, but the placement of the two songs together, Strength into Becoming and Use into Throws, is as perfect as anything that they ever would do again as far as tracking. I mean, Strength right into da-da-dun, da-da-dun, is like,
yep.
I'm on the roller coaster and it's fallen off the tracks and let's go.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's like full board. The same with use my third arm into Throws. Same exact thing where they just kind of almost fused the riff together on that one. And the riff is so similar that it just fits like a puzzle piece. That overall, and we can pick it apart as we're doing, saying, well, maybe this would be better first or last or whatever. This is one of the better ones as far as just a flow. You know, whether you love the songs or you don't like the songs, this has a cool flow to it where you listen and you feel like you've listened for 5 minutes and you've gone through the whole hour of the record, which is perfect.
No, I completely agree with that, man. Wayne, what are your thoughts on this one?
I think it's really experimental sounding, you know, with the whammy, and like Chris was saying, Vinny and Dime are just so like interlocked together on this track. It's really unique. I don't think I've ever heard another band attempt that with a whammy pedal and being spot on with the drums. I guess it's like a brother thing. They're doing it, but this is the first song I heard on this record back when I was in high school, and I was just blown away, man. It's I went out and bought a whammy pedal as soon as I heard it. So it's good advertisement. I still have that whammy pedal.
Dimebag the salesman.
Yeah, but no, this is cool. I think after following Strength Beyond Strength, it's they had to have another banger. You know, they couldn't go into Planet Caravan after that first one.
Yeah.
So, and I have a story behind that song too. But it's not my favorite song on the record, but it's a really strong song. And it's the rhythm. I don't want to use the word groove because there's not really a groove to it. It's just very rhythmic.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a malfunctioning machine. You know,
that's a great description.
It's the anti-Fear Factory at that time.
Right. Yeah. It's not obsolete.
That's right. Nice. Yeah, I mean, and that you know, and to your point, Chris, I agree. Like this is like one of the I feel like kind of like one of the better written songs.
Yeah.
And again, like a lot of this record almost feels like it was almost written chronologically. As I mentioned, it gets kind of wonkier as it goes, and it seems like the first four tunes, they were like locked in. Okay, they're like writing songs, and then all of a sudden, Phil gets drunk and high, and like the guys are screwing around. You get Good Friend and a bottle of pills, and then all of a sudden, all hell, busts loose, and you're off the rails, like, you know, with all this kind of weird shit, and they couldn't refocus. So, like Doug McCauley, Anti-Fear Factory, Fun Factory, nice. So speaking of 5 minutes in, and you know the record, Chris, we have 5 Minutes Alone coming up as track 3. This is obviously a Pantera classic. I honestly think the first 4 songs on this record could be considered Pantera classics. I think, you know, when people think of this record, it's, you know, people are always thinking of these first 4 bangers right off the rip. One of the things I've always loved about this song is, like, I mean, it is more straightforward. This is kind of like, I like where, you know, since we're talking about sequencing, you know, on the show quite a bit, I like where this is positioned on the album, because I feel like, you know, with Strength Beyond Strength and Becoming, those are kind of out there compared to what you had gotten from Pantera before. So then they put like 5 Minutes Alone next, and they go, okay, you know, this is still the band you know and love. for anybody that might be kind of like, this is a little weird for me or something, or too heavy, like, okay, here comes 5 minutes alone, which is okay. To me, this would easily fit on vulgar display.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
I think so.
And one of my favorite parts of this one is like, and it's something that Dimebag would do much more later, as the albums went on from here. But in the verse, it's so simple. It's like jin, 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 and it's just a straight power chord. But then in the second half, you use complex. He's on this weird like discord, like like, but it's still, it's still in that rhythmic pattern. I love that, man. It just adds some kind of like angst to the thing. It's really cool. The guitar solo on this is just awesome. Dimebag's just literally just speed picking and just bending up and just really digging into it, man. There's an awesome bass line underneath that solo.
Yeah, dude. I think Rex is the star on this song.
Yes.
The bass is what makes this tune.
Yes, 100%. Dude, and I don't know where you guys stand on this, but speaking of that, I have always thought that Rex is a very underrated bass player.
Totally. Yeah.
No comment.
Chris is not a Rex Brown fan.
I do not like Rex. Well, but as a guy, I don't like Rex. But as a player, he's great. I'm certainly not going to be that guy either. Well, I don't like him, so he sucks. No, he's great at what he does. He and I just didn't get on very well. That's all.
Well,
it happens.
Yeah.
He's a bass player. It doesn't count. So.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever.
Ouch. Doug McCauley says groove metal at its finest. Sadist Nation says, yeah, groove track, just like Vulgar. Yep, totally agree, man. But yeah, so I mean, there's that. There we go. So Sadist Nation, ooh, spicy. Why? Do tell. He wants to know why you can't stand Rex.
Why I don't like Rex? Oh, it's simple. When we did, and John, you were there, you lost your job over this. We had this Pantera meet and greet that we were doing for the radio station. And Pantera shows up. How late were they? Like 4 hours? It was like way late.
Yeah.
And to the point that we expected like 300 people to come out for this thing. And they literally had to close the bank that was next door to the record store because there was so many people that it surrounded the bank. So they closed the bank because there was so many people, and there was like 2 cops there, and they're banging on the windows, riot, riot. I mean, it was nuts. And the band finally shows up. And when they show up, we go in the back. I was one of the DJs. There was me and our mutual friend, Matt, were the 2 DJs that were hosting this thing. And we go in the back. We're like, all right, you guys, here's your tables. Here's your markers. We're going to bring people in and blah, blah, blah. And we get to that point, and Rex comes in and goes, we chalupas or something. I forget what he wanted, but it was some Taco Bell bullshit. And we didn't have these chalupas or whatever. And he was like, well, we're not going to do this meet and greet unless you go get us this Taco Bell. And it was like, go sit down and sign this shit before these people come through the windows. They're banging on the windows that they're going to riot. And he was like, he was with some stripper girlfriend or something, and he was like trying to show out that he was big rock star guy. And I was like, you know what? Fuck you. Sit down and fucking sign shit. And he did. But after that, we just did not see eye to eye anymore.
Yeah. Oh my God, chalupas.
I forget what it was. It might not have been chalupas, but it was something Taco Bell. And that's what infuriated me. It would have been one thing if it was, they had a rider of steak and lobster or something that's difficult. But Taco Bell, how about in the 4 hours that you were late driving here, you hit one? How about that?
You probably passed 3 of them.
Yeah.
Maybe he got diarrhea afterwards. So
Yeah. He can't go on the bus. So
he's just from the stripper.
You gotta hold it, Rex.
That's from right. So Kale says, and John loses his job over this. How? He says John lost his job over Taco Bell. No, John lost his job over pizza. So I was delivering pizza in the next town over that night. And Circle J, good to see you, man. He says, I think I remember this story. Oh, I know you do.
I remember.
Yeah, so I was delivering pizza the next city over the night that this was going on. And I get this call from Akin. He's like, dude, what are you doing? Are you working? I'm like, yeah, why? What's up? And he goes, dude, I need pizza like now. Can you bring me like 4 large pizzas? I was like, what? Where are you? And he goes, I'm at the Pantera thing. I'm like, oh shit, that's right. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, we need food for Pantera. I was like, okay, I could do this. So I whipped up like 4 pepperoni pizzas or whatever and throw them in my car. And I drive over to the store. And, you know, it was pretty cool. Like I get there and Chris isn't lying, dude. Like, and if the Pantera Home Video Part 4 ever comes out, like that this scene
will be
actually,
in it. Yeah.
it's going to be on there. All the people that were there being like crazy. And so I get there with the pizzas and he's like, oh, dude, cool. Thank you. Whatever. And he hands me a copy of his magazine he was running at the time. And he goes, do you want to meet the band? I was like, what? Fuck yeah, I want to meet Pantera. So go inside with this thing. I was literally the 3rd person in line because they hadn't opened the meet and greet yet. So I go in there and it was there were 2 tables. The first table was Vinny and then Dime, and then the second table was Rex and then Phil. And Vinny was cool. And the dude, it was like the first time I'd met a celebrity. So literally, my hands shaking like this. I mean, it was literally like I was so nerved up. And I still have the magazine right on my shelf behind my green screen here. And Vinny, I was like, hey man, I'm such a huge fan of you guys. Like, thanks for signing. He's like, oh, that's cool, man. Appreciate it. Whatever. And then I got to Dime, like, dude, you're such a huge influence on my guitar players. You know, I play in a band and like we love your shit. He stands up and goes, that's fucking awesome, brother. I appreciate that, man. Awesome, dude. He comes over to the table, gives me this giant hug, and you know, Rex was Rex and Phil was Phil. They're kind of like, yeah, cool, whatever. So I go about my business, you know, and I finish out my shift. So the next shift I worked was a few days later. It was a Saturday morning. I was worked on Saturday mornings, and they would put up the following week's schedule. So I go in there, and Sadist Nation. This would have been 1997, because
it was the live record they were promoting.
Yeah, and that was 97.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I go and I look for next week's schedule, and I see my name was erased off the schedule, and I was like, okay. So I go to the store owner and I was like, so you guys don't need me next week? He goes, yeah, we kind of don't need you anymore at all. I was like, all right. What happened? He goes, well, yeah, we're letting you go. I was like, what for? And he goes, for stealing pizza. I said, I didn't steal pizza. He said, I was told you took 4 pizzas out of here a couple nights ago. And I was like, oh, motherfucker. And what ended up happening was there was some chick that was trying to get a management job, and so she was busy just ratting out everybody for everything, going, look at what a good employee I am. And so because I ran out of there with these pizzas, she said, oh, that guy stole pizza, and I got fired. So I got fired for delivering pizza to Pantera. It's good. Like, I know. That is like, it's so worth it too. If there's ever like a worthwhile reason to say I got fired from a job, and you know what's ironic? That is still the only job in my entire life I've ever been fired from. That is the only one, and it was for delivering pizza to Pantera, man.
Well, you have to admit, everything about that day was nuts.
Yes,
it was nutty people. Then one of the worst things we had a problem with was we were contracted, you know, we had contracted this through the radio station. Well, one of the things we were contracted for was we weren't allowed to play any Pantera music until the band arrived. And I mean, it started getting dangerous. I mean, it really was. I'm not kidding when I'm telling you, 3,000 people, and they're all chanting riot, and we're scared to death. You know, there's like 8 people in the store. Yeah. And I've been out there with the microphone, so they're going to want to absolutely murder me. And at one point, I just lied. I was like, I was told they were coming. I was like, I'm just going to wing this. And I was like, guess what, everybody? Pantera's fucking here. And I started playing some Pantera. I start playing the Pantera. Everybody's moshing. They're
free
moshing
for everybody.
Dude, it was crazy. Everybody starts moshing in the parking lot. Then there was like a bike rack. You remember this, John? There was like a bike rack, and 3 or 4 guys yanked it out of the ground and tried to take it into the store to have Pantera sign this bike rack that they ripped out of the cement.
Yep.
It was nutty. And this whole time I'm playing the Pantera music and they're not here. So now it's like, okay, I shot my wad, so to speak. What do we do if they're not here in 15 minutes or whatever? And then luckily they showed up. Thank God they showed up. Or we were all inside the store and we were like, okay, if the windows break through, you run out this back door and just keep running so you don't get hurt. Because it was dangerous, man. It really was dangerous.
There is last thing, and we'll get back to the album. But yeah, I mean, I got to back you up in that there was definitely some bad vibes. I know when I showed up, people were pissed.
Yeah,
they were. There was.
Well, they thought we lied. They thought we made up this thing. As drunk people. And the truth is, and we could have done a better job, and it would have been a lot better if we would have had any kind of police at all. But we were all like, everybody in line had like coolers of beer. Yeah. So everybody was getting hammered. Now it's 3 and 4 hours instead of 20 or 30 minutes that it was supposed to be. People have been drinking for 4 hours listening, and we were playing some heavy music too. So we're playing like Slayer and Testament and Anthrax and whatnot, getting everybody all cranked up and hyped up.
Right.
And then them Pantera doesn't show. We're like, oh my God, we are going to die.
One of the only times you were afraid of something.
I was definitely afraid on that one. I was like, I'm just going to run.
I'm hauling ass out of here, man. That's awesome. Oh my God. All right. So back to 5 minutes alone. I guess two quick things. Like, I mean, the breakdown into that, ass stomp like that is just, it's just such a great example of Dime being able to take something so incredibly simple but make it just absolutely just crushing. And at the end, just a small change, but it's so cool. Like in the outro, he adds like the chugging to the main riff. It just adds to it, and it just kind of gives the outro that extra power. And Vinny's just riding on the crashes, like just great song, man. I love it. So
I love real quick. I love that one part too, where Phil, in the most evil voice he does, he's like, "I ask you, please," and then it comes right into Dime's guitar, right on the back end of it. It's like, whoa, it just knocks you over, man. It's so good.
Yep. Oh, and you got that lyric like headbutt some broken glass. Like that's like the most Phil Anselmo line ever.
Yes.
So, oh my gosh, that's so great, man. Wayne, what are your thoughts on this one?
It's very bluesy. It's very Dime is the star on this track. Kind of got that southern rock bluesy, very solid state sounding guitar tone.
Yeah.
On this song. This is probably the one that I sing along with the most. I feel like I need to lose a couple teeth before I with this one. But it's I think it's this one and 5 Minutes Alone kind of feel like a part 1 and part 2, I guess.
This one and I'm Broken, you mean?
Yeah, it's got kind of like that walk feel to it a little bit. I think this song could be great on Vulgar as well,
Yeah. No, I totally agree, man.
Yeah.
Look,
and who knows? It could have been written at the same time.
It's like a holdover. That's possible, man. I mean, that's a good point. Kale says, "I'll say it. I'm kind of loving Pantera story time more than the actual album dive." Wayne, what do you got? So apparently, when we're done with the record, we got to do some more Pantera stories. Joseph Wren, John Drake isn't drunk enough to have this conversation. Get to work, John. No. John has to sing tomorrow night, so he is keeping it together tonight. So, all right. So we are moving on to track 4, which is of course "I'm Broken," the single from the record. This is one of Dime's very best single note riffs. It's like he does that so well.
Yeah, that's that bluesy riff, man.
Yep. Yeah, just the way he bends it, like there's a certain attitude that he plays with that. Anybody else, this would just be a boring and clunky type of rip. But the way he just grabs it, he's got that kind of southern rock feel to it. Like it's a kind of bluesy.
Yeah.
Like it just makes it, Of course, it's got that awesome that breakdown. Ugh, 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 ugh. That's just awesome. And back to Dime, like I think this is probably his most melodic solo on the record, obviously outside of Planet Caravan, which we'll get to later. But which kind of makes it stand out because on this record there's not a lot of melodic soloing going on. Like we talked about, like it's a lot more kind of like squealing and noise and kind of effects driven stuff. So, but just great song, man. Where do you stand, Brains Substitute?
Love it. Like everybody else. It actually, if it did anything for me, it made me a Crowbar fan from watching the video. I literally watched the video. Phil was wearing the shirt. I went out the very next day and bought the Crowbar record and became a Crowbar fan just because I was that enamored with Pantera at the time anyway. So they could have told me anything. They could have said, go buy a Backstreet Boys record, and I'd have bought 10 of them. I was
like Backstreet Boys.
I was there. I don't hate them either. But
Jesus.
But I don't know. I do like I'm Broken a lot. It's just like we've been saying, the first four. I mean, that is perfection in metal.
Yeah.
It's and like then it goes a little weird.
Yeah. All the bluesy phrasing and the guitar playing on this track is, I mean, if you turn all the distortion off on this could be like a Bad Company song. It's like so Southern rock, like you can hear the Skinner influence on this track.
Good point, man. It's so hard to think of a Pantera song with the distortion turned off. You know what I mean? Like it's like wait, what would that sound like? Like what the fuck? Like, but that's a very good point. Like I said, like there very much is. Like I think, I'm trying to think. I would have to look back at the catalog, but I mean, I think this is one of those rare songs where that particular influence of theirs really kind of they wear it on their sleeve, because they don't generally do that. So this is a very astute point by you. All right, so moving on to track 5, Good Friends and a bottle of pills, a good skip and a bottle of skip. I don't hate this like everybody else. We don't have to talk about it. To me, it's just one of those kind of. I've always looked at it as like kind of like a segue track, almost like a Dawn Patrol on Rust in Peace or something like that. So it's like whatever. But
it's filler.
100%.
It felt like when it came out to me, it felt like it was unnecessary shock attempt with that whole I fucked your girlfriend last night. It's like, did you? It's like, come on. It's like we're blasting so hard, and now all of a sudden we're going into this weird place. It's like, nah, not for me. 2 minutes, 52 seconds of waste.
Yeah, it's like I said, this is where it kind of the record, takes a left turn. It's like I said, it seems so focused and to the point with the first 4, and then you get this, you're like, okay, and then to your point, Chris, they follow it up, go to track 6 with Hard Lines, Sunken Cheeks, and you're like, wow, okay, this is interesting. And it's almost like a tale of two records in a way. You've got the really focused stuff. I mean, like you could easily put Slaughtered on the up there with the first 4 songs on this album, and then remove Good Friends and a Bottle of Pills, and then keep the rest of the stuff on the second side, and you would have like 2 very disparate sounding records. Like it's weird. But yeah, Hardline, Sunken Cheeks, like I'm with you, Chris. It's not my favorite. It's the longest song on the record, and it doesn't. It's not like length where it really goes anywhere per se.
It's really dark.
Yes, very
really
much so.
Dumb is what it is. It's just dumb.
It's not needed.
No, for that song, I would have rather that have been just like a 4-minute song and none of the slow parts. Cut all the slow parts out and just go with that fast. These are lines. That's okay. If you could fill the front end and the back end around that, I'd be in. But
yeah,
it just
like the verses are great, and that's kind of my point. Like it's like it's almost like they would have like a good idea and not be able to or know how to finish it.
Yeah.
So it's like I think you can say that in each of these songs coming up, like there's just a brutal part just an awesome part, at least one in each of these songs, but the stuff around it is kind of like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, it's almost like the record label is like, hey guys, we need like one more song to put on the record, so let's just hurry and put some shit on there, you know.
Well, and that was the thing with this whole album too, was they were big time fighting with the record label about this record. I remember them talking about just big arguments that they had with Sylvia Rhone that ran the record company at the time, and the record company did not think this was going to do anything. They thought this was going to be a failure, that they were going too far. They didn't realize how hungry everybody was for more, heavier, stronger, you know, and you have to remember, I mean, you have to really remember the timeline of, they come out with this record that's just blasting, and then what comes out a year later is Load, which, you know, from the then Kings, and it was like, here comes Metallica just stepping off the throne, because they, you know, they what was the first song off of Load? Was that
Ain't My Bitch?
Ain't My Bitch, which is a soft pop song, you know, pop rock song, and if you compare the two I remember Phil very distinctly saying, "This is why we're the fucking kings of metal now. Metallica's weak."
Yep.
And he wasn't wrong.
Well, and I think, you know, it doesn't get mentioned a lot, but, you know, people talk about how this record was the first extreme metal record to go #1, which is a feat in and of itself.
Sure.
But I think what gets lost in that is that grunge had a hold at that point. So not only was it the first extreme metal record to hit #1, but it wasn't like this was like the late 80s or something when metal was still the genre. Like this was at a time when it was all grunge, and you get this Pantera record that comes out that is just the most obnoxious thing possible, and it goes to #1 on the charts. Like, that is a fucking incredible accomplishment. And you know, to your point, like, Sylvia Rhone didn't know what the hell to do with it. I mean, this is at the time when, you know, she famously was in that pissing match with Motley Crue, and you know, she was just dumping everything off of that label that even remotely resembled rock music. Yeah. And here comes this album where she's like, yeah, this is gonna do nothing except go #1 and establish them as like a solid, like, shed arena band for the rest of their career.
Right.
You know, so, but yeah, in terms of this song, I mean, there's some cool slides on the guitar going up and down. You know, it's specifically in the guitar line under that, you know, my soul for a gun, under that part. So, yeah, I mean, that's cool, but I like you guys, you know, I mean, I'm not really a fan. I mean, there's a cool juxtaposition between the wonky slow part and the straight up double bass verse. Like I say, that parts that just, they kind of smash together, like a fucked up Lego kit, you know, and you know, the guitar solo kind of mirrors the arrangement of the song, and like I said, this is the one where he actually tuned really low. But he isn't just ride it, like, you know, you mentioned Sandblasted Skin earlier. He doesn't do that where it's like just strictly, you can tell that guitar is tuned to Q, you know.
Right.
So, but, you know, and I mean, at least the end is kind of good. Like, it kind of rocks at the end as in that fade out. But yeah, not great. Any last thoughts on this one? I know you guys are not fans of this song. So.
Yeah, this is a skip track for me.
And this is when I go back to track 1 and 2 and fill the space.
Or skip over to Slaughter.
Yeah, exactly. Or that, yeah.
Well, we can do that right now. Why don't we go to track 7, which of course is Slaughtered. Yeah, this is definitely, like I said, more in the vein of the first 4 tracks. I mean, the riff is just awesome. You're like, it's like, okay, we're back on track now after the previous 2 songs. I think it's pretty cool how Vinnie Paul kind of, in the first half of the riff, he's following with the guitar, but then he doesn't in the second. Again, it's kind of like I said, it's that there's that musicality there. That Pantera was a band that really did that a little. Actually, not a little, a lot better than some of the other metal bands. There was a lot of, it was a lot more thoughtful, I think, even in its simplicity, which is really cool. The chorus is, I mean, can we say this might be the most brutal Pantera chorus ever, with Phil just screaming "Slaughtered" and the drums going just. Yeah. I mean, it's just every single instrument and voice is just hitting as hard as possible. You know, and the bridge part is just hammering the and then it's just, oh my god, like he's the guitar part and those busy drums, like Vinny's like doing like it's just everything about this is heavy, but there's a musicality to it. This song's fucking rips, dude.
Yeah, this is my favorite song on the record.
It's my second favorite song on the record. I like it. I love it. I do love it.
Which one is your favorite, Chris?
Use My Third Arm. It's my favorite Pantera song of all time.
Really? Okay.
Yep. Love it.
All right. Well, Wayne, tell us why this is your favorite tune then.
This one I think is it's fast and slow at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense. You got some thrashy elements and some groovy elements. I think Phil sounds fantastic on this one, like the chorus. I think Phil is the star on the song. I think like I was saying earlier, I think that they should have probably started off the record with this track. I mean, this is the mosh pit song, other than Strength Beyond Strength for me. This is the one that, this is where the fight starts. if Strength Beyond Strength puts you in the middle of the fight, this is the start of the fight.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's I mean, everybody sounds great. It sounds like this song is really well rehearsed. They did a lot of practicing when they wrote this track. They put some thought into it. And I think this could have been a Vulgar as well. The production is fantastic. I can hear every single note that Vinny's hitting. The snare drum sounds fantastic. Maybe they did it on purpose to set off to start the second half of the record with this one. But yeah, it's my favorite track on this record.
Akin, what do you think?
Love it. I mean, there's not a whole lot to add. I mean, it's just great from start to finish. I mean, the way it even just kicks in. It's like, whoa. It's like you got lulled to sleep a little bit with Hard Lines and Sunken Cheeks. All of a sudden, it's like, okay, we're back. We're back from commercial. Let's go again.
Yeah, and that may have been their intention with that too. Thinking about it, let's put some weak shit before you get back into the heavy shit.
Riding that roller coaster, sort of. Yeah. And I don't have a whole ton to say about it other than it's a great, great song. I certainly am not going to argue that point. It's one of their best songs, period. Not just here, but just in general, it's one of their best songs.
No, I totally agree. I think, my final thought on this, I just think this is such a perfect example of, Pantera being the band that was able to make, heavy music, but have it not be in such a Neanderthal type of a way. There's more there than just tuning the guitars low and going jig, 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 you know what I mean? So if someone's going to ask me, well, how heavy is Pantera and how good are they, I'm like, this is probably a song that I would say, hey, check this out.
Definitely.
Definitely. So
it's definitely the gateway drug song for Pantera. If I was like, hey, you want to get into this band, this would be one of the songs that I'm here first.
Agreement. Yep. All right, so moving on, we got track 8. We're at 25 years. It's got a cool kind of melodic riff opening the song, which is awesome. This one, I think for me is like really like there's just so much weird stuff in there. He's doing like a string scrape into an off chord, like like the arrangement is weird. This is one of those ones that's just all over the place. And when I think about what I said earlier about like, was this prog Pantera? This is kind of what I'm talking about. Like the middle part is totally different from the rest of the, it's just totally different. They go, we're fucking you back. It's like they stuck this totally different part in there, and it's very interesting in terms of songwriting structure because there doesn't seem to really be one.
Yeah, the lyrics are a little different on this one too.
I love the lyrics on this one so much.
Yeah, it's very personal.
It's so mad. Yeah. It is one of the most angry songs they ever did. That whole thing about, now you picked up that chair and I'm aiming for your head. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. He wrote this about his dad, right? Because he was like estranged from his dad, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And he really was. What is the line? Something about Your words are the words of a weakling and the promise made by a liar, a drunken liar. It's like, it's like, God damn it.
Yeah, it's words of a weakling and promises made by a liar, drunken liar. Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so, you could tell that he's pissed. This is something that was very personal. This was not kind of looking outward and seeing. Plus, this is kind of, and maybe you guys agree, maybe you don't, but to me, this was one of those that felt like this is when kind of the drug Phil started writing, because some of the lyrics in here really are like, they'd probably sound a little better if you were, if you were cranked up on something other than Blacktooth Grins.
Right. Yeah, and that's one thing I did want to bring up. Like, another thing I noticed with this album, and especially stuff like this, Chris, like you do have these sort of brutal lyrics from Phil, but Phil is, I think, also a very underrated lyricist. I mean, even if you just want to bring up sometimes his phrasing, it's really interesting. It's very original. But again, Dime just overshadows everything. It's like, it's, for as much as like Dime and Vinny just worship Van Halen, I mean, they very much are like a heavy metal Van Halen in that, you don't hear people talking about David Lee Roth outside of being a frontman, like, oh, he's the greatest frontman. But, lyrically, that guy was pretty intelligent. So you don't really hear about that. You just hear Eddie Van Halen, and no one talks about Michael Anthony as a player and all that kind of stuff. So, and I think it's like that with Pantera in terms of Phil's lyrics and Rex's bass playing. So, where do you stand on this one, Wayne?
It's a very angry tune. It's kind of a hard listen because of that. It's not one of my favorite tracks on this record, so I kind of skip over it a lot. The lyrics are kind of hard to, for me personally, kind of hard to relate to. So it's just one of the songs that I'd listen to and not really pay attention to. I kind of skip. It's a skipper for me, sort of.
It's a song.
It's a song.
It's there.
It's there. It's not filler, but it's there.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to track 9, we have Shedding Skin. This is a cool riff. I think this is like kind of the one
that, like, to me, this sounds like it could be off Cowboys. That riff.
Yes, to me it sounds like a second half of the record Cowboys.
Yes, exactly.
Like around stuff like Message and Blood and all that.
Yeah, the art of shredding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that riff. The heavy verse riff is cool. I love the pull off. That's cool. He's doing that weird kind of, I don't know how to, like, I would call it a spider chord, that weird effect, like boom, boom, boom into the chorus, and it goes, I am shedding skin. Like that. It's just, there's some really, like I said, I think you just totally nailed it, Wayne, when you said that this could be off of Cowboys, because now that I'm going through my notes on the song, I'm like, yeah, that sounds cowboyish. Yeah, that sounds cowboys-ish. Like, another example of them going into some totally completely different part, in the middle there, they just totally change it up. The guitar solo is interesting to me because it sounds like it doesn't fit this song. It sounds like it was a solo from another song and they just kind of lifted it and just stuck it in here. So I thought that has kind of a cool vibe to it. And I like how they kind of, you figure, okay, he did his guitar solo. Now we're going to do the last chorus. But then he ends up closing the song with another solo, which is pretty cool. So guitar wise, this is a really, really interesting song. So I like this song for that reason.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this one, Chris?
Love the riff. I love the way Phil's voice just sounds on it. He kind of pulled back just a hair, from Slaughtered and from 25. He pulls the rage back just a little bit, and I love it. And of course, I mean, this song, start to finish, all you got to say is Dimebag. You really don't even need to explain further than that.
Yep.
This is a Dimebag song. If you like Dimebag, this is one that you will worship. And simple as that, really.
Yeah. What do you think, Wayne?
Yeah, I agree. It's this is Dimebag as a star on this track. It's such a cool mid-tempo. It's like Chris was saying, this is the roller coaster track for me. It's
Mhm.
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
It's very it's cool. It's weird, but it's I don't skip this one. This is a listener.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally agree, man. Yeah, I would say on the second half of the album, this is probably my second favorite song.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to count Planet Caravan, by the way?
I like Planet Caravan.
Well, see, that's the problem is I love it, but I'm like,
Yeah.
do I count it because it's so different and so? It's not their song.
Yeah.
So I'm never sure if it's like, oh, what's your when I list favorite songs, it's like I gotta say,
Well,
like,
it's their take on this song, so I
Yeah.
guess you can go with that.
Okay. All right, so I'll let you lead this one off, Chris. Track 10, Use My Third Arm. This is your favorite Pantera song ever.
It is
so,
of all time.
So
Or
lead us
heaviest.
off on this one.
It's so heavy. As you're aware, John, I love death metal. I absolutely love death metal. And somehow they took the groove of Pantera with death metal lyrics, because this song, the lyrics are so death metal angry, kill that fuck to shut him up. It's like holy, and like the whole thing, every lyric in this song is just vicious. A faster way to kill them all would take too goddamn long. It's like, what? Take it easy, Phil.
Yeah, this song has a temper to it.
Yeah, it's so angry. And I'll be honest, this is right when I was going through my little burn shit, when I was very angry. So having something that matched the aggression that I was feeling at the time, I'm telling you, I played this song. I had it on a cassette. I didn't even have a CD player in the hospital. And I was driving my doctors fucking bonkers with this song, because I was literally playing the song, then hitting rewind. It had one of those little clicker counter things on it back in the day. And I knew where to take it back to. And then I would play it again. And I just would play it over and over and over again in a hospital for 6 hours at a time. It fulfilled what I needed at the time, and now it still holds that place in me where I'm not as angry as I used to be. I don't need this song as much as maybe I needed it then, but
Right.
Man, every time I do have something if I have something stressful in my life or something that's challenging, like a job interview or something, if I was going to go do a job interview, this would be in my car on repeat from my house to the job interview, so that I would get out of my car completely amped up and ready to take that job interview or that stressful thing, whatever that stressful thing would be. And I've literally done that exact example on job interviews with this song. I have nothing but love with this song. Love it. And that's it.
Yeah, I realized that when I was talking about Slaughtered, I accidentally sang the riff to Use My Third Arm. So I just was like, oops, dumbass. So yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, like, this is just a killer riff, man. And it again, this kind of, it's like I mentioned earlier, this is kind of proof of how Diamond Vinny can take something so simple that any other band would make sound like dog shit and make it just killer. Because it's doing that, and then it goes into these scrapes, and it's just like, the riff is just, he's just like scraping across the strings, but with Vinnie Paul still just doing that drum beat, it's just heavy. It's like a Primal Concrete Sledge type of vibe almost.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's like, and then it gets all kind of like thrashy, and you just love how, like the judgment, like the drums kind of back and Dime's doing that wah, like, again, I think he's hitting the whammy pedal somehow there. I think, when you can correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I mean, like, there's like that heavy double bass with the descending chords, for the quote unquote chorus, because I don't know that this necessarily has a chorus per se. That's one thing I noticed about this one. It's kind of just like,
sure, is this that kill that fuck to shut him up part? That's the chorus.
I know it doesn't sound very chorusy to me, but, But yeah, it's, you know, and then you've got, of course, again, they switch it up. You've got that awesome slow part in the middle of the, and then of course coming out is like just, man, oh man, just the brutality on this one is awesome. So, what are your thoughts on this one, Wayne?
You know, if I was going to steal 4 pizzas and deliver them, this would be the track. Yeah, fuck yeah, nice. I took those pizzas. What are you gonna do about it? I delivered it with my third arm. But yeah, no, I think this is probably one of the top 3 heaviest Pantera songs. Definitely the heaviest song on this record. It's very angry. It's just pissed off. You know, if I am pissed off, this is what I'm gonna put on. You know, it's a great tune. I think this could be on the first half of the record. Maybe they should just maybe that was the whole point of having those 2 shitty songs before they came into the stuff. Yeah, no, like Chris said, it's beyond a banger.
Yeah, this is goddamn, like, and that's another thing I think that, you know, kind of sets this record apart is that, I mean, Vinnie Paul is like known as like a really good double bass drummer. Yeah. But I feel like he really kind of leans into it on this album a little more than on you know, records before and after. Like that's very much like a hallmark of this, is just that driving like throughout a bunch of these songs, and this is a perfect example of that. So yeah, great fucking song, man. All right, so we've got 2 songs left, and Chris, you said that Use My Third Arm fits beautifully with track 11, Throes of Rejection.
It does.
I hate to be a contrarian here.
Go ahead.
Martin Popoff, but this song is kind of a throwaway song to me.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a really cool riff after the first chorus going to the second verse, but they don't really go back to it enough, I think. Right. The simplistic solo section is really cool, kind of like they had in Becoming. You know, it's just guitar, drums, and bass, and it's nice and direct, and kind of, it's a nice kind of like, you know, palate cleanser from all the craziness that's been going on for the second half of this album. But other than that, this one is just kind of like, okay, like it's just kind of there for me. So if there's a skipper on you know, on this one, I would say this would be, you know, this would be the one on the second side of the record. So
not for me. Dude, I love so much the very beginning of this. I mean, I like the whole song, but I love the beginning of it where it starts in slow and all of a sudden it's like, this is feeding what I am. Yeah. And the dime just explodes again. It's like they convinced you just for a second that this wasn't going to be as heavy as what you just had with Use My Third Arm. And then right after Phil does that, this is feeding what I am, it's like, dime is just going nuts. I love this, and I think I'm partial to it more because it was so good live. Oh my God, it was so good when I saw this tour with in 95 or whatever year it was that they were touring this. This song, you want to talk about a vicious pit. I mean, yeah. Like I said before, I was sitting up in the rafters kind of watching, but I was watching people that I was surprised were getting up because the pit was out of control on this song. So, yeah, I'm very partial to this one as well. Not as much as Use My Third Arm, but I very much like this one.
Okay. Wayne, where do you stand on this one?
I'm kind of in between you guys. I think I listened to this one for the guitar playing. I think the intro is really, really neat. And then once the vocals come in, it just kind of loses me. So it's not like a throwaway track completely for me because I will go back and listen to just for the playing. But other than that, it's not quite filler, but it's not a standout track. So maybe that's why they kind of pushed it towards the end. But I don't love it. I don't hate it.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. This one, it's got some cool parts, but again, I like the other songs better, I think. So, all right. So track 12, the closing track, Planet Caravan, obviously a Black Sabbath cover. I love the placement of that song on this particular album. I think it it's a perfect choice because it sits so oddly against the rest of the material, and that's something we've talked about with, some of the, like half of this record where they just kind of stick parts together that don't really seem like they would necessarily go together. And so I think this is like a perfect example of that. But I think it's a great version of the song. I personally, I'm a fan of the, Pantera did what? Like, I know they did Hole in the Sky, Electric Funeral. I don't remember if there was another one.
Cat Scratch Fever.
Yeah.
I mean, their covers to me have always been great.
The Badge.
The Badge.
Yeah. Wait, that's a cover? I didn't know that.
Poison Idea.
Oh, okay. All right. That I did not know. Yeah, I always remember Cat Scratch Fever because I remember Ted Nugent, when Dime got shot, Ted Nugent came out and said that I have no respect for somebody who names himself after drugs or something. And I'm like, I already couldn't stand that guy. And that was the point where I'm like, fuck you, man. Gunman got the wrong guy. Not to be like completely dark and shitty, but I'm just like, fuck off, Ted Nugent. You are just slime. Oh,
rejected.
Yeah, right. Look at Doug McCauley. True story. I first listened to this track at my friend's caravan.
Nice.
Nice.
Was it on this planet?
Yeah, it was. Oh my God, the puns they tell themselves. Yeah, or make themselves. There you go. Nice English, dickhead. Yeah, I love Dime's solo on this one. It's just, it's understated and just perfectly phrased and just, it's awesome. So I like this one. This one is always extremely sad to me, and I don't know if maybe I'm alone in this, but for some reason, like, let's see if I can make this make sense. This song always, yeah, right. Oh no! Look at Wayne. He said his phone died.
Oh no!
All right, we'll have to get Wayne back in here. All right, so we'll get Wayne back in when he's able to charge up. But for me, this always feels like what I think of when I think of Dime passing, like the end of his career. Like because it's just this song is very melancholy.
Yeah.
And it's kind of trippy, and it's like I don't know why, like it's just when I think of like Dime and his like funeral and stuff, I picture this is kind of like the soundtrack to that, I guess.
Sure.
So I love the melody of it. I think it's a very faithful cover. But yeah, there's always that sadness about it because I'm like, yeah, this kind of reminds me that Dime is gone.
Right.
So, but I love it. I mean, where do you stand on this one?
I have a love-hate relationship with this song. Obviously it's Black Sabbath, so I love it. I love it anyway because I love everything that Black Sabbath does. Yeah. I love their version of it. I like the vibe that they met with the version. Where I don't like this song is when they do it live, because when they were doing this song, when I saw it on this tour, they were only playing about an hour 15 at the time, and they were wasting 5 minutes on this song. And I was like, give me another. You got 3 brilliant records and you're giving me Planet Caravan, and then they would follow it with Cowboys, but I would have rather them, give me You're No Good or something like that, something other than Planet Caravan. So I like it on the record. I hated that they were playing it live. I felt like it should not have been a live track at all, but whatever. It's a cool, I mean, it is what it is. It's a cover of a great song done faithfully. So how bad could it really be?
Yeah, that's my thing. It's like, I love how faithful they are to it. I've always been one of those people that if a band is going to cover a song, I hate when they're like, "We'll check it out. Here's our interpretation of it." No, fuck you. If it's good enough for you to cover, then fucking do it right.
Yeah.
I've always said that. It'd be like going to see like a tribute concert. Like, like if I'm going to see a Van Halen tribute band.
Like Brother Believe Me.
Yeah, exactly.
They always do those songs bad.
They always suck, man. Yeah, but it's like it'd be like going to like a like a Van Halen tribute band for me, and then they give me like a jazz fusion version of Panama. It's like, no,
Yeah.
play fucking
Play Panama.
play. Yeah, exactly. Play Panama, dude. Like, I'm not a fan of when bands kind of mess with it. And Pantera was always like so true to the original versions of what they did. So I love that. And again, it seems kind of weird, but it's like this song almost feels kind of appropriate because it feels like such a pot smoker's tune.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys were stoned all the time, so it's like it's almost like, yeah, this kind of is, you know.
Dude, do you remember? Did you see this tour? When
no, my first tour was Trendkill.
When they played this on this tour, the scrims all the way to the back, everything staged, like there was no organization or nothing to it. It was just pot leaves all over the place, spinning in circles,
right?
As they sang the song for the whole song. It was just these big pot leaves spinning around. It was great. It was cool. I mean, again, I don't want to say I don't like it. I really, really do. I don't know. I just wish they wouldn't have played it live. That's all.
No, makes sense. It sucks Wayne's phone died. He said the music video was an inspiration for him. That would have been a cool story. He also says it's his second favorite song on the record.
Wow.
And by the way, if you want to know how bright I am, here we go. All right, Wayne's jumping back in. I don't have to tell my story. Okay. Actually, I could tell my story. What the hell? I was about to say, Wayne, I was like, you want to know how bright I am? Wayne's like, oh, my phone died. So I just texted you a couple times, like, dude, if you jump back in your laptop. Yeah, that's it. Text somebody whose phone's dead, dickhead. Nice fucking work. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just fucked up. look at Doug McCauley. Fuck Ted Nugent. I wouldn't even put that on a shirt because that's giving him too much airtime. Yes. Oh, I hate that guy. All right, yeah. So we did put your comments up. So you said it's your second favorite song on the record, and that the music video is a big inspiration. So yeah, talk a little bit about this one, and man, talk about what this song personally means to you in terms of your career.
So the music video was some really early 3D animation. I don't know if you guys remember. It's like the seed flying through the universe and landing on Earth and all this really, really, I guess it's bad 3D now. But at the time, man, it was some cutting edge shit.
Yeah.
It actually was a part. I don't know if they made it for the band or if the band bought it. It was a part of a like a DVD series called Into the Mind's Eye. And every 3D animator who came up through my era in time, who started doing that kind of stuff, that In the Mind's Eye stuff was our inspiration for everything. So for like my job today, I wouldn't be doing it what I'm doing now if it wasn't for the Mind's Eye. And Planet Caravan was a part of that. It was like a compilation of that. And it's just the coolest shit for like 1993, 4, 5, that time period. And to see that on a Pantera music video, dude, it was like the coolest shit ever, man. I was like, dude, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. Yep. So yeah, the song's good, but it's just sentimental in a way. So that's when I listen to it and I go back and I hear that, I'm like, wow, man, that's where my mind was when I was a 15-year-old kid. It's and that's why I'm doing what I do now, is because of music videos like that. Yeah.
Man, see, I'm glad you have like a more positive association with it, because like I was saying, like mine is sad. At least yours is like a good positive, because like I say, mine just bums me out.
Yeah, and Phil does sound like he's drunk as hell.
Yeah, right. Like I said, this is done chronologically. They were all worn out from being so goddamn heavy. They're like, we're gonna play something mellow, and then Phil's like,
yeah.
Like, so
yeah.
So final thoughts on the record, man. I mean, we've said everything there is to say pretty much, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. Like this was a good re-listen for me. I hadn't checked this one out in a minute, and it's always seemed to me like that the second half of the record, as I said, is just all over the place. But having to go through it a few times to pull up some notes for this episode, like it's a little more focused than I remember it being, in the back half of the record. But it's still all over the place. But again, I mean, you could literally in every song except for Planet Caravan write down something that is like ungodly heavy that they did, and if you go through their whole catalog, this one has a lot of their very heaviest moments on it. So
Right.
just a great follow up. I think even with the weaker material, I think it's a fantastic follow up to Vulgar Display. I love the attitude on it. It's just it's kind of the way that I always think about this record, and Akin, you'll know this a little better than Wayne, but whenever people talk Metallica, people say, "Oh well, Puppets is the record," but I always go for Justice, and I say that because to me, like all the adjectives that people use to describe Metallica describe the Justice record the most, and I feel like this is the while this isn't my favorite Pantera record. I feel like this one, all the adjectives that people use to describe Pantera would actually describe the the Far Beyond Driven record. So I think that it's kind of got that kind of vibe to it, the same way that Justice does for me in terms of Metallica. So,
it's well put, man. I agree. Yeah.
Thank you. Akin, final thoughts on this one?
Well, first of all, you're on crack thinking that Master of Puppets is not the best, but that's
okay.
That's that. I love it. I flip flop between this and Vulgar as my number 2 all the time, and really they're those two. It doesn't really matter which one. I'm not turning any of it off. I love it. As a suggestion for people that have not really dug into this, dig into the 20th anniversary version instead of the one of the original version, just for that live bonus disc from Donington, because that is Pantera on fire. And I mean, it is the songs we're talking about. It's Strength. It's Use My Third Arm, and Slaughtered, and Mouth for War. It's literally, if you took those 3 records and you had 30 minutes to share it with somebody, that's it. That live version. The only thing I think they ever did better than that was when they went to Russia. Those Russian shows are just ridiculous. But
and Vulgar,
but I love this. I mean, come on, it's Pantera. There's really nothing in Pantera I don't love, but this one is right near the tippy top for me.
Yep. By the way, I got to send a shout out, man. We've got an old schooler in the chat, man. Our good buddy Sarcasmo Asholio. Haven't seen him in a minute, man, but he's been with us since the very beginning, man. Good to see you, dude. So Wayne, final thoughts on Far Beyond Driven?
I would give this one a B-, if I was to give it a grade. It's not my favorite. It's not the worst. I put it right in the middle.
Okay.
But I think if I was introducing somebody to the band, this is a record that I would let them hear first. I think it's their most accessible. It's
really okay.
More than Cowboys?
I would say so. I would think so. But the thing with Cowboys, it's my favorite, but I don't. Phil's doing like a lot more upper register vocals on that one, and I don't know if that would like turn some people off. I think it's badass, but I think Phil is in his element with this record.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think the production on this record is the best. So it's in the middle. For me, it's not. You don't have the cowboy type solos on this one, and you don't have like the groove that you would have on Vulgar. Right. But I think it's kind of a mashup of those two. It's almost like every song on this record could be a deep cut from one of those records.
Right.
But I mean, the album cover is confusing. It's a good record. It's middle of the road for me. Just number 3.
Okay. Number 3. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to argue that part about saying it could be like deep cuts from Vulgar or from Cowboys, especially we're talking about like Shedding Skin has got some very Cowboys-ish stuff like we said, but yeah, I mean, like Chris said, I mean it's Pantera. So you can't go wrong with it. I mean it will forever be criminal that what happened to Dime happened. And it just sucks, man. Like, because I mean, you got to wonder what I mean. I guess. Well, let me think about this. Did you guys think the band would have broken up after reinventing the steel anyway? Like, or I mean,
they did.
Yeah,
I think we would have got a reunion.
No, I know
we would have got a reunion, but
I should have
don't
phrased
know.
it that way. I should have phrased it that way.
I don't know that they would have come back together and been strong. I think by that point, I mean, Phil at that point had 2 or 3 down records under his belt, and Necrophagia, and Phil and the Illegals was in some form. I forget what it was called at that point, but it was some form of that before it became Phil and the Elite. Phil was off doing his own thing. Phil, for as much as Phil peace and loves it now, people forget forget the bad mouthing that they did toward each other. Yeah. Phil was off in another creative place, and he's never really come back to that. If you think about it, I mean, all the different stuff that he's done, is there anything that you listen to and you're like, well, that's close to what Pantera was doing?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Mike Patton with Faith No More. Everybody'd like to get a Faith No More thing if you're a Faith No More fan.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
And nobody's loving Tomahawk or Mr. Bungle, or they just don't sound the same. And even when they did reunite and they did that, whatever that last record was called, I can't remember what it was called, which tells you, it wasn't the same. The magic was gone. I don't think they could have found that magic with them trying to be sober and there's a lot of pieces to that puzzle that I don't think would fit anymore. And certainly, with sober Phil now, do you think Dime would have really not been drinking anymore? So you would have had that kind of energy that would not have been good. And, I don't think it would have worked. I think they would have shit out a record that we all would have been like, this is Damage Plan 2. And that would have been it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I kind of agree, but then I also kind of feel like Dime was always in that metal kind of mindset. Like I think he would have. He and Vinny were still doing like the same type of thing. So I actually personally think,
but not as well. I mean, again, you can like the Damage Plan record or you can hate it, but there's no arguing that there's some really crappy songs on there with some cool guitar, like the song "Fuck You." That's a garbage song with some incredible guitar on it.
Well, but
that's what they were writing.
But is that because there wasn't a Phil and a Rex to bounce stuff off of, and that's the thing. It's like being around these guys that you've done this with.
Wayne's out.
Wayne's out again. He said, "Oh my God, Wayne, you got to get chargers, man. You can afford them now." Yeah, I think there's something to be said for the creative spark that comes with being in that original unit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's it's any musician will tell you, unless you're the primary songwriter who basically like does it all, like an Eddie Van Halen. Like right now I could probably sit down and write a song, but would it be as good as what I would write if I was working with Don? No, because there was just something there that we kind of like fed off each other. So I think that would have really played a role. So I have a I think I would have a little higher hopes for it than you would.
Well, unfortunately, we will never know.
I know. That is, oh my God, that's still isn't it shitty? Like that always has to be in the back of our minds with that.
Yeah, no, and look, it's shit. I do not want to minimize on any level Dimebag being killed, because as you were very well aware, I was very, very close with Dime. Like we were friends, like legit friends.
Yeah.
So I don't ever want to sound like I'm like, well, whatever, shit happened, but onward to the next thing. You know, I don't want to sound like that, but in a way, in a strange way, I'm kind of happy that we got this perfect box and it's never going to be fucked with and it's never going to be ruined. And forever and a day, we're going to say Pantera and we're going to think one of the most dominant bands in the history of the world. And we're not going to look at it like when you say Metallica and somebody yells, "What about Lulu?" You know, you know, or any of those bands, you know, Anthrax. You know, there's people that don't like the John Bush era. Dumb people, but people that don't like the John Bush era. But, you know, there's pretty much up and down the road, there's such a few number of bands that were this heavy that stayed great. And Pantera is one of the very, very few, along with, I don't know, Testament, Death, Overkill. I mean, there's a few, not many. Yeah. And I'm pretty happy with the 5 that we got where they never tarnished it. I'll take that, and that's probably better than if Dimebag was writing riffs for fucking TikTok or whatever, because he would have been all about that shit.
Yeah. See and isn't that shitty? That's one thing that would have been awesome, to get like Dimebag like a YouTube channel or like, dude, I mean, that would have been the greatest watch like ever, man. That would have been so fucking great, dude.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, especially, you know what a huge Van Halen guy I am. I mean, you know, look at what that's devolved into with David Lee Roth out there just now, you know, acting like a clown and sounding like shit and being drunk all the time, and you get the fan base like Sammy versus Dave, like, yeah, like, I think you phrased it perfectly, like this nice little box, you know, because even though you're not a fan of the Damage Plan record, like Dime and Vinny were still absolutely on fire live.
Well, I'm just talking Pantera. Yeah, I mean, because like I don't really like the Rebel Meets Rebel record either. You know, I wasn't.
You don't really?
Nah. You know, I prefer my racism in somebody else's ear, but that's neither here nor there. You know, that's David Allan Coe. That really wasn't those guys, but
yeah.
But you know, Pantera didn't. They never gave me, even the songs that we're bagging on tonight, they never gave me anything where I was like, this is dog shit. You know, never. There's not one song in their catalog that I would say that about.
Not even Good Friends and a Bottle of Pills?
It's not my favorite. It's my least favorite. But even then, it's still better than Cup of Joe from Anthrax.
Well, I mean, they're both kind of joke songs.
Yeah, I know.
It's better than anything off of Load and Reload and Saint Anger. So there you go.
Let's not get carried away. Bleeding Me is a great song, but that's a whole nother issue. Bleeding Me is a better song than Good Friends and a Bottle of Pills. I will argue that all day long. That's a great song.
I'm just so anti-Load and Reload. It's not even funny. So
no,
you know where that. But that's a topic for a whole nother podcast.
That's right.
So, well, yeah. Many thanks to Wayne Joyner for jumping on. It was great to see him. Great input as always. We'll have to have him back on again. We have to have him on twice because we said we're going to finish out the album series with him. So we'll have to have you as well, as we especially for the next record, being that it is your favorite. So
can we get some super chats going here real quick so we can buy Wayne a charger?
Right. Yeah. Poor Wayne. Both devices died. That's such bad luck, dude. Oh my God. But yeah, many thanks to Wayne for jumping on. It was great to see him. And of course to you, man. Thanks for making time to come hang out.
Sure, man.
Always awesome bullshitting with you, talking music. As always, you're more knowledgeable than I am, but you know, go figure.
I don't know about all that. I needed this tonight though. Holy shit.
Bad week, huh?
Well, you know what I was doing this afternoon, so
yeah.
I needed the pendulum to go the complete other way tonight. So
right. Well, glad we could help.
Yep.
Love your friends on Talking Into Infinity. Oh,
that's right.
Hands.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. Well,
squishing it.
Exactly. All right, man. Well, I'll chuck you in the green room and I'll close up and then I'll talk to you in a minute.
All right.
All right. Thanks, man.
Yep.
There he goes, the mighty Chris Akin, man. So, yeah, Pantera, Far Beyond Driven, kick-ass fucking record, man. But a very weird record, but definitely proof positive that Pantera was basically unstoppable, even when they were being wonky and drugged out and drunk and all that kind of stuff. So, one more time, many thanks to Mr. Wayne Joyner for jumping on the show. I'm sure we'll have him on a bunch in the future, so keep an eye out for that. Huge thanks to Mr. Chris Akin, the mighty Chris Akin, for jumping on with us as well. As I said earlier, he's a huge Pantera guy, and I know he loves talking about the band. So it was great getting their insight. And yeah, as for Brian, I hope he had a great gig tonight. We'll see if he books any more Thursday shows. I keep telling him to check our schedule, but he doesn't seem to do that. So whatever. He's a slacker. So in any case, guys, thanks again for tuning into another episode of Talking Into Infinity, a Dream Theater centric podcast. We'll be right back here on all of our locations in 2 weeks. It will be Thursday, September 3rd at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, and Brian will be back for that one. So come hang out with us. Got to say a big thanks to everybody in the chat. Great seeing our old buddy Sarcasmo Asholio. Of course, Circle J. We got Jim Bartek, great to see you, man. Obviously, Kale McLeish. We had Chastity Crawley, Doug McCauley, Sadist Nation, great to see you, man. So, yeah, thanks to all you guys for all your great input and keeping the thing rolling, man. So until next time, I am your host, John. We'll see you on Thursday, September 3rd at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And as always, guys, Carpe Diem.